how do we go beyond just the surface level and truly understand the candidate in the first place? Candidates are looking for something more than just title, more than just money. Welcome, welcome. We are back with another edition of Recruiter Fuel. My name's Steve Lois. I'm the chief trainer at the Recruitment Education Institute. If this is your first time watching one of these videos, welcome. You're probably a recruiting professional, a sourcing professional. I've been doing this now for about 30 years. But Recruiter Fuel is all about the community of professional recruiters. And the objective is to share what we've been through, best practices, thoughts for other recruiters, senior up-and-coming recruiters, and so on. There's really a commitment to try to do three things in just about every session. Sometimes we're just interviewing recruiters. We try to attach these three things as well, but it doesn't always work perfectly. But here's the theory behind Recruiter Fuel. One is to look at some of the common problems and myths that we experience in recruiting, to figure out why are those things happening in the first place, and then to provide at least one bit of practical advice so that we avoid that challenge. We avoid or can deal with that particular myth or whatever's happening in recruiting. And that's really the premise behind Recruiter Fuel. So a number of years ago, I wrote a book called Recruiting Sucks, But It Doesn't Have to. And really the intent behind it was to deal at the time, this is 2018-19, with some of the myths that we experience in recruiting, right? What are we dealing with? And it was really kind of to simplify some of those things. It wasn't meant to be a real in-depth how-to, but it was to give kind of the broad picture based on my own experience in recruiting. And one of the myths that we talked about in there is this idea that candidates are focused on nothing more than money and title. And I've talked about this particular issue before, but the interesting thing that happens is that no organization pays enough. No organization can give every title that a candidate wants. But I bring this topic back up because COVID, this last 18 months, if it's taught us something about recruiting, is candidates are looking for something more than just title, more than just money. I mean, think about how many candidates have given up dollars in order to stay working at home, or have given up dollars in order to move in whatever that location is where they live now in order to work remote. I mean, the concept of the work-life blend has changed in the past 2 years, making it difficult for us as recruiters, because even though I always believe that it wasn't the dollars and the title, that wasn't the only motivator. Both of those are extremely important. And for some right now in this economy, it could be the primary motivator. But I think if you look deep down, there's more to it than just those two things. But even when we deal with title and money, there's some things that we could be doing as recruiters that avoids the assumptions about what's important to somebody. And that's what I wanted to talk about with just for a second today, right? Think about what we do as recruiters. When somebody says, money's the most important thing to me, we make the assumption about what money means. If work-life blend, or work-life balance as it's called, is the most important thing to me, then we make assumptions about what that means. Does work-life balance mean I need to only work 4 hours a day, 3 days a week so I can get my kids to and from school? Does work-life blend mean I'll work Monday through Friday as many hours as I need, but Saturday and Sunday I'm completely off the clock? Work-life blend means something different to everybody. Money means something different to everybody. The importance of title, that the career pathing. I mean, let's think about it. If I ask three of you what it means, what career growth means to you, I'm gonna get three different answers. Career growth to one may mean I wanna become CEO. Awesome. Career growth to another may mean I just wanna do the job that I'm in perfectly because I have so much more to learn, and that's all I really want to do. I don't want the responsibility of people, of big P&Ls, of all these other things. But depending on the context that we have as recruiting professionals, we sometimes assign that context to the person that we're talking to. So although I still believe it's a myth, it's not just about money and title. Those things often make other issues easier if we get paid a little bit more. But what we have to really think about, the intent of that entire chapter in the book, is how do we go beyond just the surface level and truly understand the candidate in the first place? So when they say career advancement is so important, here's kind of the practical takeaway. Define for me what career advancement means to you. Well, this family life blend, work-life balance is really important to me. Help me understand, define that. What does that mean to you? And what I find often happens is, unfortunately, we cut corners. We make assumptions again by taking our own context and placing it on the candidate. Regardless of what the driver is for any of your candidates, take a step back and have them clearly define it. What does it mean to achieve that particular thing? As recruiters, it now helps us, it arms us to determine, can I address that particular thing? Is this position I'm recruiting for, can I appropriately present it in a way that addresses the specific things going on in the mind of that candidate? And I think if you drill deep, you'll go beyond money, and we're seeing that. You'll go beyond title, and we're seeing that. But even the terminology that's used out there around opportunity and career advancement, as I just described, we've got to look beyond that, and we've got to drill in and understand from the candidate's context what that specifically means for them. And here's the thing, if they can't define it, it's not really one of their main drivers. They're using that because it's probably what they think we want to hear, or it's because it's in the media and everybody's talking about work-life balance, and I'm not discounting any of those things. But as a recruiter, again, take a step back, ask the questions. Thank you for sharing that with me. Define that for me. What does exactly that mean for you? Because it's different for me and for potentially other candidates. The myth of money or title can now actually be extended to a lot of these other pieces. That's not the only thing driving the candidate, but what we have to do is understand in the candidate's mind, in their context and their definition, what it actually means for them. I hope this is helpful and gets you to think about your interaction with candidates in a different way. Now, if you're watching this, make sure to click on that notification button to sign up and be the first to know about every new episode where we'll drop some nugget that you're able to take back to your role as a professional recruiter and a professional sourcer. Also, if you have a particular issue, a particular opportunity, a particular piece of advice for the recruiting community at large, this is a community of recruiters for recruiters. The goal is to provide value to you and to get the broader community to continue providing value to each and every one of us in that particular community. But if you have something you want to share, a bit of wisdom, reach out to me directly. Click on the link below. Send me an email. Do something to tell me that you've got something that is burning inside you that you either want to talk about or advice that you want to share. Make sure to come back, sign up, and you'll be the first to see our next edition of Recruiter Fuel.